Right, let's see what we have. Unbelievable! Hello and welcome to another Tyrrell's Classic Workshop. We have formed a relationship with Hampson Auctions. I've known Zach Hamilton or the Hamilton family for a number of decades, and I'll be speaking to Zach in an upcoming video about the wide spread of cars that they actually have across the block, to use the vernacular. This particular car has come in, along with the Aston Martin that we did last week, this is coming up at their forthcoming sale, and I just had to, with Zach's assistance, have this car here to do a video on, because it's amazing. On the attentionometer, if I can call it that, in other words, when customers walk into the garage and they gravitate towards a particular car, walking past a 2 million or 3 million pound car in the process, and say, ooh, that looks wonderful. And it's like, oh, okay, yes. And this has been off the scale on the attentionometer. It really has. It's got this very beautiful paint job, colour scheme. It looks to me like late 1990s Rolls-Royce Peacock Blue. It's definitely not an original E-Type colour that I'm aware of. It's actually in between two, but it looks absolutely glorious. And it's got these Dunlop racing replica wheels on, more of which in a minute. But I just couldn't resist having this car in, because it's quite an interesting reflection of where the classic car restoration genre has gone, really. On the other extreme, you've got the original cars like the white E-Type, which we're well on the way to finishing. Many videos ago, we had that in a workshop catch-up where James was talking about the amount of rusty steel in it, which a lot of almost all UK E-Types have. They weren't designed to last 60 years, or engineered to last 60 years, but that is a very standard car and has a beauty of its own because of that. We restored it to virtually factory fresh condition in all ways, and it works and sounds and looks beautiful, so that's okay. Then at the other end of the spectrum, you've got the 10 out of 10, or the 10 out of 0, or the 0 out of 10, which is full electrification, that you rip the engine and gearbox out and install an electrified powertrain. I'm not going to go there because that's not my cup of tea at all, but this is a sort of 8 out of 10 in terms of pushing the envelope. So it is a Jaguar E-Type. It started life as a Jaguar E-Type with this exquisite two-seater bodywork. Malcolm Sayer designed, very much using their Le Mans winning technology. They won Le Mans year after year after year in the 1950s, Jaguar. And latterly, it was with the D-Type Jaguar, which, funnily enough, preceded the E-Type Jaguar. Amazing, really. But this beautiful shape, the windscreen is literally, I think, halfway back in the car. That's how proportioned the car is. And this car, the reason why I say it's an 8 out of 10 is it's been restored very nicely indeed, but it's the technology that goes into it as well. I had an E-Type in a few videos ago, which a Jaguar specialist down in Bridgnorth in England, SNG Barrett, are engineering some fueling systems and improved brakes and one thing and another. But this car has got that, all of that, and it's actually had a fortune lavished on this car. The engine has been taken out, the original, this is a Series 1, it's a Series 1 4.2, I'm guessing, because it's got the trimmed center console dashboard instead of the aluminium one that came out in September 1963. Digging deep in the memory there. But this is a Series 1 4.2, but the engine, I don't know whether it's the original matching numbers engine or not, but this is a trick engine. It's 4.7 litre, which is big for a Jaguar XK. In production form, the largest they went was 4.2, and even then, it wasn't as sweet an engine as the smaller capacity ones. The rotating masses inside the engine started to get a bit vibrationy and a bit harsh, and you can actually feel that in the car in the 4.2s. But with technology, the counterweights, the balancing weight on the crankshaft, Where the big end bearings rotate, the conrods, etc., the journals, they've all been engineered. The oil pump has been resighted so that the missing front counterweight from the crankshaft can be put on, and you end up with a very sweet 4.7 litre engine. That's what this car has. It's allegedly up to 400 brake horsepower with around about 400 foot-pounds of torque. I struggle to get that because the engine it's a long stroke engine. It's very difficult to get high specific outputs out of an engine with a lot going on inside it, a lot of movements. It's not like an Italian engine that's short stroke, where everything rotates in a fairly tight radius. This has got long conrods going round quite a large radius, but we'll see how much power this car's actually got when we take it out on the road. But it is beautifully done, absolutely lovely. Instead of the standard parallel vents on the bonnet, it's got these tapered ones. The wheels in the mid to late 1950s, car manufacturers were starting to go onto magnesium alloy wheels. They hadn't really hit the road yet in the 1950s, but racing technology, magnesium wheels were stronger and lighter than their wire-spoked equivalents. It was getting to the stage where spoked wheels actually would hardly finish a race because they're at the end of the day just thin steel rods under tension, and they warp and move and stretch and even in extremis break. So in came the mag wheels with the D-type Jaguar. The bodywork at the back here has been made more bulbous. It's been fashioned to subtly flare out. Looks absolutely gorgeous. 8-inch wide rear wheels. The original factory originals were 5.5 inches wide, I think, from memory. So it's quite a difference, but the car just sits in a sort of menacing drive me way. It really does. I'm going to be very curious to see how this car drives, because with uprated brakes, uprated engine, it's got a 5-speed gearbox in it as well, all synchro. It's going to be, I think, for me, just about the quintessential E-Type this. And the good news is, if you want this car, it's coming up at Hampson Auctions. It's going to be at a realistic reserve, which is probably a fraction of what it cost to actually restore and modify this car. So yeah, a bit of an opportunity there if you so wish. The fueling system is one of the many areas where that extra bit of technology has helped, really. The extreme tune of this engine in its period was with Weber 45 DCOE carburetors, which are side draft carburetors to fit under the low bonnet line. They were fitted on D-type Jaguars, if my memory serves me correctly, and people uprate E-types to have the 45 DCOE carburetors. But this, a company called Genvec, I think, from memory, has Genve has actually made a fuel injection system which looks like a 45 DCOE carburetor, but it actually has one injector in each port, and it electronically meters the fuel like a modern vehicle. So yeah, that's a win-win, because it gives you drivability with power. I have noticed, just moving this car around before we started making the video, the engine is quite lumpy at idle. Whether that's just because it's cold or not, I don't know. But if it could be that the valve timing between the camshafts is actually quite towards the power end of the spectrum rather than the torque end of the spectrum. You can tweak the interaction between each camshaft and actually tune the characteristics of the engine for smooth idle, low speed torque, or lumpy idle, high speed torque. And that's why manufacturers have brought in variable valve timing on either 1 or 2 cams on their internal combustion engines now, so that at low speed you have low valve overlap, so that the gases can come in and out in a fairly orderly fashion. But then at high revs, when you want the power, the variators on the cams move and the gases can come in and out super quick without sort of stopping and starting. It's a constant blast of gases through the induction system, the cylinder head and the exhaust. So you cannot make the perfect engine without altering those. Manufacturers succeeded very well in the 1960s. The likes of Ferrari and Lamborghini, their engines would idle very smoothly at 850, 900 RPM. But they would pull up to beyond 7,000 RPM in the Miura and the Countach, in spite of having a smooth idle. So these things are achievable, but this feels, if my instincts serve me correctly, this feels pretty hairy, this car. I think it's going to be a bit of a blast, literally. I just think it's a very, very desirable looking E-Type, this. I really like it. So we'll take it on the road, we'll give it a run. Also assess all the upgrades: cooling system, braking system, gear change, fuel injection, engine. It's all trick. So let's see what we have. Do click on the link in the description for Hampson Auctions. Well, it feels unsurprisingly pretty E-Type-ish at the moment. It's funny, I've mused over this years ago, and I've had this conversation with people who've been working on Jaguars a very long time. I'm a newbie at 40 years, but and it's funny, you can have a really ratty, horrible old E-Type that looks terrible, but is largely original, and it drives beautifully. And yet you can have restored cars which have been, yes, restored by supposedly expert companies, and they drive appallingly. So I mean, it's really, you know, if you can ever find a car that is largely original but just needs some recommissioning, it's likely at the end of it will probably drive exceptionally well, because obviously the manufacturers knew what they were doing. The people who were working on them were doing so all day, every day. The throttle response is certainly interesting. We've actually got good temperatures and pressures now. In fact, the oil pressure is better than it has any right to be in an early-ish XK engine. Right, let's see what we have. Unbelievable! This is a hot car, and I don't mean stolen. Maybe after the auction. Amazing. So much for the gentle character of this car. It feels very firmly planted on the road, this car, without being over-damped. Interestingly, the suspension is very well set up. I'll just see how it... I'm not going to go mad and start driving on the door handles. Yeah, corners very nicely too. Okay, let's open the taps up and see what we've got. Wow. Whoops. Nothing like being in the wrong gear at the right time. Oh, this thing is unbelievably quick. Unbelievably quick. Wow. There's the other side of this car's character. You can just tootle along, very low speed, low revs. I wouldn't like to drive it in London traffic, I have to say. Gosh, does it go? Dear me. Just try that again, just because we can. It's got a rev limiter at 4,500, so it's obviously maxed out at 4,500. But the torque, oh, it's absolutely incredible. This is very quick, this car, very quick. Just shows what some magic on a classic car can do. I mean, the thing is, the basics are already there. That's the point. This car is, you know, it was such high technology at the time. The independent rear suspension, which I've covered previously, was groundbreaking. that classical twin cam race derived engine, the rack and pinion steering, which a lot of cars didn't have. They had old and twacky recirculating balls setups, which were pretty indirect. But so you've got a great basis to work from, and that gives you this. Wow! And the brakes feel very reassuring too. A little bit of clutch judder. I'd want to have a look at that, but otherwise impeccable. And even that's a minor gripe. Perfectly livable with. So quick. It's as fast as it looks, this car. We'll try that again. Wow. Ferruccio Lamborghini said of the Jaguar E-Type, why buy a V12 when Jaguar buy this? He was talking about the straight six engine car, the 3.8 at the time. This is just phenomenal. It really is amazing, absolutely amazing. The oil pressure is remarkably higher than a normal XK engine of this age. As I say, that's because of bearing clearances, probably a higher capacity oil pump. But it feels very accomplished, this car. I have to say, I like it. We're going to have another go, just because we can. Oh, sensational. I'm going to ask that you subscribe to the channel, because it does make a difference. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching another Tyrrell's Classic Workshop video, and we'll be back with something else very soon.